So runes are actually quite interesting, because not only have they been around for so long, but somebody 3,000 years ago could have drawn a new rune, new rune, and then somebody in today's time thinks that they're drawing a completely new rune, when in fact it's the same as someone drew 3,000 years ago. And ironically, whatever intent that that person had 3,000 years ago happens to be the exact same intent that this person nowadays has as they drew what they thought was something they created. Most runes that you draw, it's not going to be the first time it's ever been drawn. And there's nearly, I won't say infinite, but nearly infinite amount of runes out there, ancient runes. You can't just look them up like you can a lot of these modern day runes. Some modern day runes are accurate, some have been turned on their head, unfortunately. So even an ancient rune that might either look similar or perhaps even identical to a modern rune, you should never ever just blatantly trust the modern definition for it. Runes, to some extent, even though there's just a basic common, just in general feel to it, a basic energy that is the same. Like one rune is always going to have, said rune is always going to have the same baseline energy, right? But to a certain extent, even though it's got that baseline same energy, you can use that a lot of times for more than just one thing. So a lot of times it needs to be interpreted, and depending on said situation, it could mean this for one thing, this for another thing, but it's never going to lose that baseline purpose and energy. Today I'm actually going to show you in a how-to, physically, how to do this. Well, it's kind of a demonstration slash how to draw these ancient runes and to interpret them accurately. If you haven't watched the how to see the hidden truth and a lot of those very basic skills videos that talk about how to accurately listen to whoever is guiding you, know the answer is correct, know that it's not your own assumption, how to be hollow, how to truthfully know that you've got something right, and that whatever you're interpreting isn't just left up to chance, then you shouldn't be doing this at all, because there's absolutely no way that you could get this right without first learning those basic skills. I talked about in a lot of those basic videos that these basic skills, they sound, like they wouldn't be interconnected with everything, but they are. And here's an example. Here's a very specific thing that you're learning, and you can find those basic skills heavily intertwined in this. Too many people believe that they know the right answer but don't. Too many people also blatantly trust what everyone else says. You can't do that in the modern world because there's not enough information. Too much wisdom and knowledge has been lost, and I'd say most of it is lost. I'd say 5 to 15% of all knowledge and wisdom that our ancestors used to know has been retained as truth, meaning it's not been twisted and warped into something else, but it's been fully retained as fully the truth, and the rest of it has either been warped or completely forgotten. When you're doing something like this, there's no way, unless you have some kind of ancestral somebody, usually a spirit, guiding you, telling you the truth of things, telling you not only what to draw, but what it means. Whatever I'm going to draw today, I have absolutely no idea, because I'm going to be hollow and I'm going to be just guided, basically. A lot of people will just look like, and then they'll just let their hand be physically guided. But the way that I do it is I see visions. I see visions of it, and then I have to draw what I see. So that's how I do it. But I can't just interpret it after I draw it with whatever I think is the answer. I don't have that. I don't have that luxury. I don't have that permission. I don't have the ability. I have to ask whoever guided me to draw that. I have to ask them what it means. And again, does that mean that it's the only thing it means? Not necessarily. Could or could not be. But for this particular purpose, they all have a baseline energy. All runes have a baseline purpose and energy. And then the rest is kind of left up to circumstance and interpretation. But it's never going to stray so far from it that it would be night and day, because it's still got to have that baseline energy, right? So, you know, to a certain extent, they can mean several different things, but they're usually connected. Those different things are connected. They're not two totally different things. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. When you do this, you can't just leave it up to anyone and anything. You have to have protection. You have to make sure that whoever's guiding you is something like your spirit guardians or totems or something, not some random spirit somewhere, because that can lead to some malicious intent. If you just let anything and everything in, don't be so hollow that you let them possess you. Just have them tell you. It's almost like having someone stand over your shoulder and say, "Do this now, do that now," except, you know, they're ghosts, they're spirits, so they're not physically standing over your shoulder, but they're still right there, standing over your shoulder, telling you, "Do this, do that." So that is what I'm gonna do. And again, just don't do this if you don't have those basic skills. So many things can go wrong. So many things can go wrong. If you try to do this without that, you have to branch away from whatever people say, and you have to find the truth for yourself and test it, and be able to know the answer, the true answer, from these guides, from these guardians, from the universe, to sort of back up whether or not you've got it right. Don't do this when you're fatigued, because you'll make mistakes, even if you've mastered the skill. Same if you're distracted. Whatever they're going to tell me to draw, I have absolutely no clue what they're going to... But I'll tell you one thing I know for sure. It's not going to be something profoundly dense, you know, because that really serious stuff, you can't just let anyone get their hands on it. It's too sacred. So whatever I'm going to draw, I'm sure it's going to be kind of light-hearted. May have to fast forward this because it takes me a while to draw these. I may have to actually fast forward some of this because I wanted you to see the actual process of at least, the full process of at least one of these. So okay. It's very, very specific on the length of it and everything, so I'm trying to... It doesn't have to be completely accurate, but the spacing, the length, the positioning of everything is very, very specific. Oh gosh. Okay. Alright. Let's see what else, something else is down here. Oh, okay, that's going to be difficult to draw. Oh my goodness, okay. This one's difficult to draw. It really is. I'm not doing a very good job on this last. Okay, I have no idea what this is, but see, so still just a bit of imperfection that you're going to have to put up with. That's supposed to be in the middle. Alright. This is the last one. Okay, so as you can see, they're in sequence. Whoops, I just messed up the camera. So these are in sequence with one another. That's supposed to be a rectangle shape. Okay, so they're going down in sequence, you know, like that. And when you add runes together like that, it kind of adds a story. It adds a story. So let's see if we can unveil whatever this story. I have no idea. I'm about to find out whatever the story is. I'm still being guided as I'm being told the story, so I'm not interpreting it from my perspective. I'm being guided and being told what it is. Land that is troubled, in jeopardy, in danger, cleansing and healing. Penetrate the threat. Absence, I'm saying exactly their words, of intrusion. I have no idea why, but they're insisting me to say of intrusion. Absence of intrusion. The eye of the mountain, or the eye of the highlands. So there is a land in danger, seeking, or that needs cleansing to penetrate the threat, and after that was done, there was an absence of intrusion in the eye of the highlands. So here we have, they've told us a story. And it's not necessarily just a rune for protection or whatever, but they decided that what I was going to do was just, they wanted to tell us a story. So that is the story. You can use this story to pick apart what certain runes might mean by themselves. So that's just an example of what any kind of ancient rune, you're going to have to do it like this. You're going to have to do it through being hollow, or you will not get the right